What is going on? This is Altona and welcome back to the channel. There's been a lot of stuff going on and I'm sure you see this box over here and we'll get to that in a second. But what I have done here, and I'll share with you the reason why I've done this. This is not complete yet. This is a nice little aircraft model that has working elevator, rudder, ailerons, as well as flaps. And I've got it all wired up right now. I just have a centering tool, servo centering tool connected to it because I wanted to make sure everything was working properly. I made everything out of a single sheet of foam board. Very easy to make straight off the top of my head. Just put it together. I even have an opening at the bottom so I can get to the wires and whatnot there. But this is basically a test bed for me. And is also something for me to be able to demonstrate easily what I'm doing. Now, one of my absolute favorite YouTube channels that I watch is RC Video Reviews. John is an absolutely fantastic guy. He knows a ton about Express LRS and Edge TX, and that's where I go for a lot of my information. There's actually 3 channels that I go to for the majority of my information, and I'll probably be referencing those 3 channels as we move forward into the year. He has a model that is laser cut, very similar to this, and you can actually purchase his model so that you can use it for reference purposes. But I've made this one because his does not have a motor on it. Now you notice that mine doesn't have a motor for my prop here yet, but I actually have a motor in ESC that I'm going to use for this model so that as I'm doing tests and whatnot, I can actually demonstrate the motor turning. And also as I'm setting up for things like my throttle cut, emergency switches and all that kind of stuff on my radio, I want to make sure that they're working and I can test them out here. And so I wanted to make sure with the direction that we're taking on this channel this year, I had something to test with. Eventually, I may create different models out of foam board for some light testing with doing things with, like I said, land vehicles as well. We'll see how that works out. I may even do one where I'm testing out my drones setups and whatnot. But this will allow me, essentially when I finish setting this up, I'll have an on-off switch connected to where the battery connects, an ESC and motor connected to it, so that all I have to do is place on the receiver that I'm going to be programming and connect that receiver to it and be able to test all of the functions from the radio through this model to make sure they're working, including binding the receiver to my radio, and then put the receiver in the model aircraft that I'm going to be flying and using it with, and then from there I can make my additional adjustments and whatnot. So this is not going to be for fine tuning. It's basically going to be to make sure any mixes that I'm going to be doing are programmed essentially properly to do the basic function I want them to do, and then from there I will be taking the receiver, putting it in the actual aircraft I'm flying it with, and all I have to do is do some minor tweaks to it to make sure it's working properly. The other thing is, as I'm doing video and demonstrating some of the functions and things that I'm learning as we're going into this, then I'll be able to demonstrate how those things function here as well. So I hope that this is something that you'll be looking forward to. Now, I mentioned a few minutes ago Express LRS and Edge TX. Now, this is my current radio. This is a Jumper T18, which is essentially the same radio as the Radio Master TX16S, which is a fantastic radio. I love this radio, but it doesn't have a touchscreen. There's some things about it, and I actually have a Crossfire module in the back that I use to fly one of my drones. And I did that because I wanted better range on some of my drones that I was flying, especially indoors where there's a lot of interference. As we get into it, you'll realize what I'm talking about here, but this guy has a 4-in-1 module built into it, and it has been my primary driver for quite some time. I've been using it for simulator flights. I've been using it for everything. Jumper no longer sells this radio, but Radio Master does. This is an absolutely awesome radio, and as a beginner getting into the hobby, going for FPV flights and whatnot, this is what I picked up. And what I have come to realize is that back then it was OpenTX. This radio originally had OpenTX on it. It now has EdgeTX. It's been upgraded to 2.8. I'm going to upgrade it to 2.9 here in the future. But this was my first radio, and I got into it, started doing some programming, started learning how to use it. And I think this, for anybody who is just starting off, not this particular radio, but EdgeTX is absolutely the way to go. And we're here to talk to beginners. And with that being said, this the Radio Master version of this radio is not necessarily an inexpensive one. Now, Jumper does have the T20 out now, which is also an awesome radio. They even have the one called the Gemini. I think it's great as well. If you're wondering about any of these radios and you're considering purchasing any of them, then make sure you check the description below, because I do have affiliate links for all of them, so you can get an opportunity to check them out. But on this channel, one of the things that I plan on doing is sharing and showing you the reason why, as a beginner, I would suggest going with Express LRS and a radio running EdgeTX. As you get into it, the radio will grow right along with you until you could start flying huge 747s, and I believe you could use this radio to do that as well. And I'm pretty sure there's others that's doing it. You can fly helicopters with it, and you can fly drones with it, whichever direction you want to go in. You can even actually control ground vehicles with this radio. So whatever direction you want to go into, I believe that's a great one to go. I'm going with the Radio Master brand of radios mostly. I may try out the Jumper T20 at some point as well, but I really want to get very good at EdgeTX, programming EdgeTX, and also really good with understanding how best to use Express LRS, which is the radio control link between the radio and the receiver. And that protocol is, I believe, fantastic and gives fantastic range. That's the direction that I'm taking. And like I said, you see that I have this box over here. If you're an absolute beginner, you're not sure if RC plane flying or drone flying or something is what you really want to get into, there are some other options that are a little bit less expensive than this one. And I want to share with you in the future as well another radio from Radio Master that will possibly be more cost effective for you, and would also be a great one for you to start with. And so let's talk about this box that I have here. In this box, which you'll be seeing the unboxing and me giving you my first impressions and opinions, is a Radio Master radio, along with some accessories for that particular radio. And like I said, this one, I'm not going to give away which one it is yet, but it is a great radio. I may have already given it away, but it is a great radio. I'm really looking forward to getting into it. I did purchase it with my own money. However, I do have affiliate links down in the description, so you can check this guy out and purchase him, purchase this or any other Radio Master radio that you might be interested in. So again, awesome radio. I'm going to go through the setup. I also have some receivers that I've received that are also Express LRS. I hope that you're looking forward to this year as much as I am. Let me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section about what it is that you would like to see. Like I said, I'm working on, I've got a plane back here that's massive that I'm going to be working on. We still have the speed run challenge that we're going to be working on. I mean, on top of that, Radio Master also has the MT12, which is a ground radio, which also has Express LRS, which you can also put a 4-in-1 module on, which I plan on also visiting this year. And of course, on this channel, again, it's about DIY and building your own stuff, whether that be 3D printing or however it is that you design and build and upgrade. That's what we're going to be doing here. But if you're curious about some of the products that are ready to run aircraft that I think are great for beginners, you might want to go and check out my other YouTube channel, Altone Tech. I will be putting new products there that are pretty much ready to runs. Any of the ready to runs that I decide I want to do upgrades to, most likely I'll put that information here on this channel, so you can get an idea or a feel. So hopefully between the two channels, you'll get what you need. Have an absolutely fantastic day. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I look forward to seeing you again very, very soon.